cocktail aficionados. It is John Moser with another edition of Cocktails Out of Quarantine. And the drink that I'm going to show you how to make today is called the Vaquero. Vaquero is Spanish for cowboy or cattle driver. It is not a drink with a long history. It was made within the last 20 years in the great cocktail renaissance that we have seen since 2000. And it was invented by New York bartender Simone Goldberg. I am excited about this drink because it has a whole lot going on. I have rarely had a drink that has engaged all of my taste buds. It's got a lot of different ingredients, and sometimes that can be a problem, right? Sometimes the end result of a cocktail with lots of different ingredients can be a mess, but not this. Everything works together well. You've got sweet, you've got sour, you've got bitter, you've got spicy, and then of course that rich taste of bourbon underlying everything. And of course, you know me, I love bourbon. So it's a really great drink. Let me show you what you are going to need in order to make it. First of all, as I mentioned, it's bourbon based. Here we go. We got a nice, not expensive yet solid bourbon from Redemption. We've got two other kinds of liquors that we're going to add to this. Aperol, a very bitter Italian liqueur. Also will give a nice red color to it. And something else with a red color, one that may be a little bit more difficult to find, Ancho Reyes. This is a chili liqueur. I've used it in a couple of other drinks. It's quite spicy. We're not going to use much of it. We're going to use enough that's going to impart the delicious flavor to it without overpowering the drink. As I say, it's one taste among many that you're going to get out of this drink. So Ancho Reyes, a little bit of that. Lemon juice, so you're going to get some sour. Sweetness, I was going to use Demerara syrup, which is what the recipe I originally looked at calls for. But I'm already going to be muddling this. So, excuse me. Since I'm going to muddle anyway, I'm going to use Demerara sugar cube, which I like. Look, I like muddling. And so I'm just going to add a sugar cube along with the other stuff that's going to be muddled. Pineapple, so sweet and a little bit of sour from that will go in. And finally, sage leaves. I'm going to use one sage leaf muddled in the bottom and another sage leaf as a garnish. So, wow, that's a lot of ingredients, right? Trust me, this is a good drink. It could take you some time to get everything you need together, especially the Ancho Reyes, which you can't find in a place like Ashland, but a bigger town certainly would have it. That's what you're going to need. Let's make the drink. The first thing we're going to do here in making the Vaquero is some muddling. So there are a number of ingredients that we're going to put into an empty shaker and apply the muddler. One is going to be one of these Demerara sugar cubes. Or if you would rather use Demerara syrup, not much. 1/4 ounce is fine. 1/4 ounce would be roughly equivalent to one of these cubes. We are going to add 3/4 ounce of lemon juice. That should be easily obtained from one decent sized lemon, such as the one I have here. Set this aside and squeeze that in. That's sliding out. Okay. There we go. We got it flowing out. 3/4 ounce. Okay, there you go. I could keep squeezing, but that would be more juice than I need. 3/4 ounce of lemon juice. 1 sage leaf. Sage can be pretty overpowering, but just one is going to be good. Drop that in there. And finally, 2 small chunks of pineapple. That goes right in here. We are going to muddle those things all together until what's in the bottom is kind of a thick, chunky liquid. Of course, the leaf is going to remain intact, but the sage flavor will be imparted to the mix. The sage leaf will actually not go into the drink because we're going to strain it, but the flavor will. Okay, I think that is amply muddled. Now, to that, we are going to add ice. And then we are going to add the liquor. Here's our bourbon. 1.5 ounces of that. Boom. Aperol, 1/2 ounce of Aperol. And 3/4 ounce of the ancho reyes. Ooh, I can smell the pepper spice right out of the bottle. 3/4 ounce. There we go. Now we're going to seal it up and we're going to shake it. All right, at this stage, I'm going to highly recommend that you use a little strainer like this. You might say, well, why can't I just pour it through the holes here? Well, those holes are kind of big, and you've got chunks of pineapple in here that might end up in the drink. You're gonna have certainly a more attractive drink if you take it through a strainer. So that is what I'm going to do here. Let me move this out of the way so you get an unimpeded view. You might have to shake your shaker a little bit because there's a lot stuck in there. There we go. And move the strainer around because you can see the sediment, mainly from the pineapple, that's forming here. So just kind of shift that around. All right. See this in the bottom? Ideally, you don't want this in your drink. Not that it's really going to affect the taste, but it's a more attractive drink if you get it out of there. So I set that aside, I set the shaker aside. One more thing is the garnish. Get another sage leaf, and I am going to break that stem off. I'm going to rest it right on the top, float it on the top of the drink. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Vaquero. Oh, I'm spilling, that's awful. Oh, it's so good. There's so much going on in this drink. I can't really explain it except, as I said at the outset, all the taste buds are engaged. So if you can get these ingredients together, this is a drink well worth mixing. In some ways, you could compare it to a daiquiri, maybe. I mean, you could compare it to a lot of different things, but it's certainly a nice drink with the spiciness for the winter, which is just about to begin here. So, hope you're having a great day, and I will see you next time. Cheers.